Hey there, folks. This is Paul Lawrence with DriftlessNow.com. I know it's been a while. This COVID stuff has kind of been putting a damper on us getting out and stuff like that. But I got a treat for you. And the treat is not that you just hopefully read the last article that I just posted. But the treat is I have with me Mary and Bob Epps and their little res dog, Shadow. This is a real bona fide res dog. For those of you that don't know, that might not be Wampchuk or Native American, a res dog is a dog that is born and raised and lives and is from the res. Anyway, Mary and Bob here currently live out in Wanblee, South Dakota, I believe, on the reservation out there, the Lakota people, and they have a real unique, special story. Now, normally I probably would have written a story about this, but I don't have much media to go with this story, such as pictures or little video clips, stuff like that. And this story is, there are other stories like this out there, like Bob and Mary's, but I just was really moved to do this video. So I just want to kind of give a tiny bit of background, but I'd rather have Mary and Bob, you guys kind of tell the Driftless Now audience out there about what you guys are doing. But they live out there, but they work to help the community. They even built up a community center out there in Wanblee, South Dakota, looking to help the people with all sorts of things, such as food, some assistance with some things they might need for their children, education, and then also, very importantly, kind of like almost like seed baking, and then also like you know, helping the people get back to their natural roots of eating healthy natural foods instead of relying on EBT, you know, food stamps or commods, which are really bad for not just our people but people across the country. So Mary, I want to thank you and Bob and of course Res Dog Shadow for joining us here today in beautiful outside of Oxford, Wisconsin on Deep Lake. And so I just kind of wanted to know, you said that you two used to live here in Wisconsin, that's correct? Mm-hmm. And then you decided to, you started sending and helping the Lakota people out there. Mm-hmm. Can you talk just a little bit about that?
Well, I'm by profession a retired teacher, retired nurse, now a naturopathic doctor, massage therapist, traditional medicine person. Yeah, we were going out probably 4 or 5 times a year.
Wow.
With contributions. We built a house for a gentleman. But we were finding that things, even though we would try to create change, nothing was changing. And so finally when we both retired, it was like, if we're going to see change, we're going to have to create that change. We're going to have to be the catalyst from that change that comes from the hope that, to bring the fact that something can change out here. You know, it's more than, because our philosophy is hand up, not hand out. You know, I'm going to feed you until I can help you learn to feed yourself. I'm going to help you take care of yourself until you can learn to do that for yourself. Because it's not sustainable. Otherwise, I hold a carrot in front of you. And if I hold a carrot, that means I get to pull that carrot away whenever I want to. And that's what we were finding, is that just by giving did not help people to create their own environment of change.
So we'd kind of say it'd be fair to say that maybe a little bit of tough love. Getting back to the culture.
A lot of tough love, because it is a culture of dependency, unfortunately. We built that in. Intentionally. It's a control factor.
Right.
And yeah, it does take some tough love. And I, being a teacher, love working with the kids. That's where I really like
working with that new generation.
Oh, absolutely.
That's, helping make the change happen.
Yeah. They're the gardeners. They're the little people that come and learn how to cook. And COVID, unfortunately, messed a lot of that up.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, we have an art center. We have a reading center. We have a little library outside the building where kids just can kind of come and get books. And yeah, that's what we do.
And Bob, so picking up, moving from Wisconsin out to the middle of the Badlands area, grasslands, to South Dakota, to a community called Wanblee, which I've been out to many times, and I've done articles out there when they had the alcohol problem with White Clay and everything like that, working with AIM and some other people. So how'd you feel about picking up and moving, getting deeper into helping the Wangshek or Native American people out there, the Lakota?
Well, what I would like to do is tell the real story how I got deeply involved.
Oh,
Uh,
I'm sure this is going to be a good one. Listen up now, folks. Listen up.
I'm a contractor. Been a contractor since I was 19 years old.
Wow.
And we lived in DeForest and had a good business going. We did some work for the state. We've done work for the federal government. We've done work for New York City. We built the first manufactured housing system in New York City. And then my wife started going out to Pine Ridge, to Wanblee. And she went out and she came back the first time and she said, "Bob, it's bad out there. We got to do something." And I said, "Okay." And I kept on doing what I was doing because I was involved in the community around about DeForest and Madison, involved with the governor and all those people. But she went back the second time. She came back and she said, "Bob, it's really bad out there. We need to go do something." I said, "Okay." And I kept on doing what I was doing. But
Yeah.
the third time that she came back and she said, when she walked through the door of the house, tears was in her eyes. And I don't know what man there is could watch his wife cry and not do anything about it. She said, "We must do something. We must go now." I said, "Okay, if we must go now, then let's take some of those things that you say that you need out there. Let's take it. Let's rent a U-Haul trailer, the largest one we can get, put it behind our vehicle, and fill it full and take it out to Wanblee." We did. We got out to Wanblee and backed up to the
Cap office.
crap office. And while we was unloading the trailer, most of the stuff is gone by halfway through. People was coming and getting it.
Wow.
I had a small toy, nice little toy for a kid, for a boy. And this is what got me. I took the toy inside and was a little boy between 6 and 7 years old, maybe 8 at the most. And I gave him the toy. And he looked at the toy and he said, "Is this my toy?" And I said, "Yeah, man, that's your toy." He said, "Is this really my toy?" In a
Wow.
loud voice. I said, "Yeah, that's really your toy." He put it to his chest like this. He said, "This is the best thing ever happened to me in all my life."
Wow.
That stole my heart. At that point, I had to turn my head because I was crying. Because nowhere in America should any child be saying at 7 years old that they need a toy. They never had a toy before. So we left Wanblee and came back.
Hold on a second. No, you don't have to stop. I'll just edit that out. Yeah, good old me. Not. And it's. Would you like to extend your car warranty? No, I wouldn't. Shut up. Yeah. Hey, sis, I should have remembered.
Wake up, Shadow.
Turn that phone off, right?
Wake up, Shadow. Be on the video.
See, at least I can edit that out. It's still going, right?
He did read it right
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
there. And
Okay. Hold on. Take two.
so at that moment, I decided that we had to go do something. I came back to DeForest, started closing down my business to get ready to move out to the reservation. Because going out, we had been going out there once a year, twice a year, 3 or 4 times a year, taking things and doing things. And it wasn't reaching what needed to be reached. And I said, well, in order for us to do that, we had to go out and do it ourselves.
Yeah.
So we moved out to Wanblee, and it's been quite an experience. You can see the suffering and pain that little kids, I mean, little children running around the village who have no control, nobody to guide them, no one to feed them. And it's just in America. it is that bad out there. It take all of us trying to put together a program to make all America the same. That's what we're trying to do.
Wow. You know, when you were talking about that child that you gave that toy to, that just that's really moving. You know, it reminds me of, you know, the month I spent out there at Pine Ridge and visiting with all sorts of people while I was doing that article series on white clay. It just kind of brought back some memories of, you know, how rough it is out there, how sad it is, you know. And Mary, when it, you know, you obviously were there when this interaction happened with this child and everything like that. I think it's also important to point out to everyone out there that, yes, we're talking about a Native American reservation, but this is happening all over,
Yes.
you know, in urban, in America, like Bob, like you were saying. But one of the things to me, being Native American, that's sad is that this is still happening to our first people, the people that have always been here from the very beginning for 10,000 years, you know. And it's just unfortunate, it's sad. And, you know, you probably heard, Mary, many times that I've heard the people throw out those words, well, if there's no jobs there, if it's so depressed, why don't they just move?
Yeah.
You know, but I think it's important, I don't know if you agree, it's important for people to understand that, you know, our people, all these different tribes have been removed and put on land that they didn't, that's not really where they're from, and with nothing there for them to eat or to practice their religions or whatever. And it's that's like the last thing they have associated with after everything was ripped away from the people.
So.
And then someone says, well, why don't they leave? Well, they don't want to leave because that's the last thing that they have that they can call their own. You know, actually, you know, no Native Americans, as you well know, believe we own the land, but we're caretakers of the land. But that's the part that, you know, kind of was given to us. So with all this, you know, with you guys deciding to move out there and help the people and build this community center, can you talk, Mary, on some of the programs that you have going on?
I sure can. One of the things that we do on a weekly basis is, because there is a food shortage, we make sure that children have food for the weekends. So that we actually do food packs. We make about 300 food packs every week that goes out on Friday. And now, of course, with the pandemic, it's only exaggerated because the children were getting food at the schools. They could at least eat breakfast and lunch and snacks there. Now that has to be delivered to them, and it's not always the best. But we make sure that for the weekend, we have food so the bus drivers deliver to the kids. The other part of it is we've connected and now collaborated with other organizations, Generation Indigenous Ways, which is one of the awesome groups that we work with because I love their team. They do elder care packs with traditional medicine. They go out and collect the medicine, the shiaka and the, you know, all of the juniper berries and all of that kind of stuff. We did a buffalo kill so that we could make sure that the elders had meat, and then made sure that they had all the stuff to make soup. Soup is a very nourishing meal for people. Now it's chokecherry gathering time, so we're making chokecherry patties and pemmican and all the kinds of stuff that people traditionally would have eaten, and we're trying to continue to promote that. But what we found is that a lot of the elders also had grandchildren living with them. So while we were feeding them, we needed to be sure that we also had food packs for the children. So now whenever we do the elder packs, which is about every 2 to 3 weeks, we always make sure there's plenty of food for the kids. And fresh water, because water in some of the areas, there is no running water. There is no source of water at all. Some use cricks if the creek has water in it, but it is South Dakota, and if there's no rain, there's no creek water.
That's dry, yeah.
So yeah, the other thing is we do have a reading program that we have. We were having children come down for 20 minutes a day. We would read and then talk about what did you read. And I have a little library in the building, and then there is a small library outside. So it's just a free library. I said, don't bring the books back. This is not a, you take it and bring it back. You take it and you keep it because I want you to build a library in your house. So,
Wow.
and the other thing is, if a parent comes down to get diapers or formula or whatever they may need for their children, we always make sure that they get books. And they say, okay, you got to promise me 20 minutes that you're going to read to your child. So it's the kind of a joke now. Yeah, Grandma Mary, I call Grandma, wants every kid to read in Wanblee. I said, yes, I do. I want every child to be reading in this village because that's just going to broaden their little worlds.
That's fantastic.
I want them to know that there's so much more. And so we were having cooking classes every week. It was creative kids in Grandma's kitchen. So, and we raised a lot of the food, and we did some dehydrating, and we did some, you know, a lot of stuff. Christmas is always a big deal. Christmas, we start in November.
Wow.
Put up our 10-foot Christmas tree and decorate it with whatever the kids want to decorate it with. Because I want the wow factor. You know, I want the kids to walk in the building and go, oh, wow!
Right.
You know, and they do. So it's like, okay, we did it, you know. Yeah, it's a lot of where my motivational goal comes from is I want them to know they can have a different life. They can have a better life. They can live right here. It doesn't have to be hopeless. Because if you're hopeless, you're helpless.
I think that really is an important thing that you just said is that you can live here
Yes.
where you're at
Absolutely.
and you can have a better life.
Absolutely.
You know?
You should not have to leave your family.
Right.
Where are you going to go? You know, I could go somewhere and live anywhere. But that's because I probably have resources to be able to do that with.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have somebody looking at me crazy all the time. You know, I mean, let's look at that systemic racism that's out there that naturally affects anyone of color. And I don't want to get into a whole political thing because we all know where we are right now.
Right, right.
But at the same time, it's very real. It's so real that when we wanted to put a garden shed up, because we're doing a whole gardening project now, we're putting up a hoop house, and it's going to, people if they want to, I just had someone say, hey, can we bring our own stuff? Yeah, this is all about your artwork. This is all about what you make. This is all about what you grow and you want to sell at the community garden. I could not get anybody to bring concrete for the floor. I mean, Bob couldn't. He called and called and called this guy. And the men that were going to smooth it out said, maybe you're going to have to call him. So I had to call the guy to bring it.
Wow.
And it's like, this should not be. This is absolutely ridiculous. I don't care if he got stiffed by somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You don't make a generalization
Mm-hmm.
that everybody there is not going to do what you think they should.
Right.
We lost creditors. Our zip code changed. We lost creditors that we had had for years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you know, people that don't live there don't understand that. But it's very real, and we knew it was going to happen, so we were prepared for it. But there's wonderful people there. There's wonderful stories there. I love being out there. I want to see Wanblee be better than Wanblee is, but I love it out there. I really do.
Now, Bob, you shared that special story about that child and that toy, and you know, I'd really be remiss, Mary, if I didn't ask you: is there maybe one real special thing like for Bob that just jumped out and it really, you know, toned in on his memory? Is there a real special memory that really touched your heart that you could share with the readership out there?
Wow. I don't know if there's one special. It's
It'd be tough, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would really be tough. You know, I think about the little boy that used to come. Our screen is gone off of our window now because the kids our apartment is in the complex,
Mm-hmm.
in the building, and kids would come in the morning. Grandma, are you awake? And it's like, I am now, buddy. You know, because we live there. And
Right.
he said, well, I'm kind of hungry, Grandma, and we have chickens. Because I wanted the kids to experience what it was going to be like to hatch eggs and go through that whole process.
Uh-huh.
So he came down and he would come and we'd sit and do chicken eggs and whatever was available. But yeah, I would feed a lot of kids. But I don't know if there's one particular. Right. I think it's just
The whole.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the whole thing. And the kids coming down, it's like, because I used to come late at night and I said, look, we go to bed early. So unless you're in trouble, unless something's happening in your home and you need a safe house, don't come down here after 9 o'clock at night. But
Mhm.
if there's something going, you beat yourself down here and you bang on that window until we get up and let you in, you
Right.
know? Because, and it is a safe house. It's like the kids come in and they'll just go,
Yeah.
I want them to do that. I want them to feel that. And we get that from the community too. We get that from the people in the community. They say, wow, there's just something different here. They call it their peaceful place. You know, because there's no arguing, there's none of that. You take that all outside. If you got to have that, take it out.
So is some of the hope here also that kind of the lead by example kind of
Yes,
idea
very much
from
so.
what
Very
you guys
much
are doing?
so. Yeah, very much so. That feel of it doesn't have to be chaotic and crazy. You know, you can find that peace. You know, natives years ago. Well, think about sitting around the fire. That wasn't chaotic and crazy. That was storytelling time.
Right.
That was respect. That was all of that. I would love to see all that come back again because we've lost so much of that. And it's unfortunate because when you lose all of that, you lose yourself.
Very well put.
So,
You lose yourself.
yeah, you do. And then you're at the mercy of whoever wants to recreate you.
Right. And that's a scarier thought.
That's a very scary thought.
So you have some hopes there, some dreams for some of these kids that are seeing what you guys are doing, helping the community, helping them learn, getting more education in there.
Yeah.
That will just kind of grow with those children, and hopefully, at least with some, it's planting that seed, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, the language now is coming back. People are learning the language. In fact, we want to, next month, start doing language classes in the building.
That would be great.
Yeah, we want to do, because I need to learn the language. I know a few words, but I don't know the language. And we need to learn it and to encourage other people to do it. We need to encourage, we have women's group that comes and we sit in circles and talk about, because we want to be a safe place.
Mhm.
We want to be that if things are going on and they're really tough. And let's be honest, things are a little tough in those homes.
Absolutely.
We want to be that place where you can come and just talk about, but it's got to be safe because I don't trust you until I know you,
Right.
you know, and you know, it's everybody's related. I think everybody in Wanblee is related somehow.
Right.
I'm not quite sure how, but I've figured
Even
out.
the res dogs,
Yeah,
right,
even
Sarah?
the restaurant.
We'll get to you in a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, Rez, Shadow's our little protector, man. She will back if there's alcohol and drugs on you, she will back you at the door.
There.
I've seen her do it.
Good.
Yeah,
Good
I
dog.
have seen her do it. And
It's
somebody
lovely
came at
crime.
5 in the morning, and she would not let us open that
Mhm.
front door. She stood between the door and just growled and barked. And I said, Bob, don't open the door.
Yeah.
Do not open that door. You know. So yeah.
And
we've got
what's the name of the community center?
family? Oh, we're families working together.
Families
That's
working
our
together.
group.
Are you guys on the web?
We are on the web, yeah. So it's familiesworkingtogether.org. We have a Facebook site. Go to that because I'm much better on the Facebook than I am on the website.
Well,
It's
that's
quick
okay.
and easy. You
And
know?
is there a way that that a readership out there can donate to what's going on?
Yes, you absolutely.
And what do you
can.
prefer? Do you cash or
We have-
can they send donations? Or
Yeah, we have PayPal, so you can donate through PayPal.
High tech
Or-
people, PayPal.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, well, because we run our contributions, we're an open, transparent nonprofit. You know, we are a bona fide nonprofit, so all of your contributions are deductible. We run those through our accountant, and that's how we do it. But yeah, you can, if you go onto our website or you go onto our Facebook site, you'll see the addresses and you'll see all of that contact information. Our personal cell phones are on there. You're welcome to call, but you probably won't get me because I don't really do it. It's the kids are grandma. You don't ever answer your phone. It's like, yeah, well, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a joke, but yeah. It's
Well,
a
listen.
wonderful opportunity. I love it.
Yeah, well, I really like what you guys are doing, and for you folks out there, our Driftless Now fans, and you know, this isn't exactly the Driftless topic, but you know, we have a large Native American community, and a lot of history of this all being whole chunk land. And so, you know, I think it's important, and since being Native American myself and being with Driftless now, it's important for me to bring some of these Native American stories and issues and cultural things that are going on within the community, like we did with the Indigenous Day and the week in Sauk County last year. We're going to be covering more on that actually this year again. And the article that some of you might have just read that we're doing about the mural that's going to be on the Great Sauk Trail. So those are some of the Native American things that are right here in the Driftless area. But you know, there are other areas in the country where you know, our Native American people, our First Peoples, are having a real hard, rough time. And you know, anytime that I hear of a time or a situation where I can use Driftless now to get a story out there and you know, bring awareness to our readership about you know, a different part, maybe not in the area that you live in, but somewhere different. But that's part of the United States of America. You know, I'll do it. I'll do it without a doubt. Now, I was speaking to Bob and Mary here, and I found out some really cool information here, and I just want to. It's a little off topic, but I think it's important, really important. So, Bob, I hear, and this kind of turns, hopefully will be intertwined with the community center and helping the Longshucks, the Native American people in Wanblee community. But you told me that you have a niece that is an astronaut.
Yes.
Could you tell us tell our readership about that a little bit? And this is a really cool story.
Well, once a year ago, maybe two, she was put up for the first black woman to go on to the Space Center for 6 months. And somehow, with all the politics going on, she got put back. And now she's up to go again within a month.
Hear that, folks?
She will be
Hear that?
going out into the space. And out there,
Oh, in a year. Tina says it's not a month.
it's a year.
Yeah.
In a year's time, she's going out into space. She's going to be one of the positive people on the spaceship to carry on, to relate back to America, or back to other nations, what is going on out in space. We hope that everyone who can watch what happened in the space in the next year. And that's all.
Wow, that's really special.
Yeah.
And then you said you maybe have some hopes of her coming out then to Wanblee to
Oh, she
maybe
will.
talk to some of the women
Yes,
and even to the kids, the boys too. You know,
Absolutely.
let them know that this is possible. People of color, you can do these things.
You
It's
can do
within
these
your
things.
reach.
Yes.
So you must be really proud, Uncle.
I am. I'm proud, very much proud of her. And we have been involved into politics and into the communities around the country. You know, when we moved out to Wisconsin, we moved to a town called DeForest. And because of DeForest was an all-white town, the only two black individuals in DeForest was my daughter and myself. And fortunate, some of the leaders of the Lions Club came by the house 4 times to ask me to come and join the Lions Club.
Wow.
Well, my experience has been when whites come like that, they're coming for you to be a token.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I'm not going to judge a good old boys club. And when it came the 4th time, I said, well, let me go and see what they're doing. And I went over to the Lions Club. And a long story short, in 3 years, they made me president.
Wow.
You know, I believe in God. God was setting me up for a cause. Because this year wasn't.
Last year.
Last year, the Lions Club came out and they fitted everybody on the reservation that needed glasses.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
serious?
I'm
two-
serious.
We had 2 experiences with the International Lions to come out there and do free class. Do
There you
screening
go.
and
Lions
glasses.
International.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. So, and they have now adopted, along with a group in Omaha, they have adopted our food pack program.
Wow.
I said, we can help you with this. And so, yeah. It's
Does
been-
not shock me though. Lions is excellent
Yeah, it really
organizations.
is. But you know, I think the greater part of this is when you look at the whole over picture, the creator has already figured this all out.
Yes.
He's already figured out that we have the skills that he needs to have out there. I just say we're just two crazy old people said yes. You know, that's all. We're just the vessel of
Two
change.
crazy old people that said yes. Imagine what you can do out there.
Amen.
Absolutely, and
We need you.
there's more people like us out there. And we have fun. We have in our building we have dormitories for men and women to come out and stay because there was, as you know, Wanblee has no place to stay
Yep.
if you
No.
come out there. And so we said, well, we need places to stay for people that come and volunteer. And so we've had groups, numerous groups, come out and help.
Mhm.
Because if we put our resources together, the amazing things that we can do. And our deal is, if we're going to work on your house, so are you. This is not a house for you. It's a house we're going to build with you.
Right.
Because otherwise, we leave. You don't have any skills or tools.
You can't keep it up.
You won't
Right.
be able to keep it up. You won't have any knowledge.
So
of it.
real hardcore education
Real hardcore.
and expectations.
Expectations.
There's nothing wrong
Yes.
with that.
I don't think so. Because then you have ownership in it too.
Mhm.
It's like I watch the children. They go, oh, "Wow, look at what we did." You know, that's good. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. And then you pass that on. We're just, like I said, we're just the vessels of change.
Beautiful
So,
thing. Beautiful
yeah.
thing. Now, we have here Shadow the Res Dog, and as you can see,
That's a story behind that.
yeah, there's a story behind Shadow here. And I don't know if Shadow's. Are you breathing?
She's
Shadow's
kinda
breathing.
getting
She
that.
said, "Look, it's nap
Or
time."
just enjoying that.
Nope. No.
So, but anyway, well, listen. Is there anything last minute thing you want to kind of add or anything?
No, I'm
Tell
very
our
grateful for
readership
this opportunity. Please follow us. When the pandemic leaves, please consider coming out there because we can use your hands, we can use your help. There's a lot to happen, and we don't want to we don't just stay in the Wanblee area. We are actually going back with a trailer load of stuff that we're going to be going to Porcupine. That we need to. We keep stuff in our building. We have stuff in our building. We keep it about 6 months, and if people don't need it, then another village needs it. But we have people actually coming from other villages now to come and get stuff that they need all the time, and we like to be sure that we have that. We have a big sewing center, so quilting, as you know, Star Quilts
Oh yeah.
are big there.
Oh yeah.
So we're trying to get that again off the ground. We had a quilting machine donated, so we're trying to get that off the ground to get an economic base for people to be able to support themselves to some extent. You shouldn't have to wait every month to see if your light bill is going to get paid or if your propane tank is going to be full, because there are months when I had a little boy that was down there a couple of times. There was no heat and no lights. He comes. I keep flashlights, and we keep we keep batteries, and
Yeah.
we keep things, so at least there's a flashlight in your house or solar lights or something, so that there will be some way of it. Yeah, it's an existence that if you have never experienced it, you would have no idea that it happens, but it does happen. It's real. And I believe children live by choices parents make, whether they make those willingly or otherwise. Children are still subject to parent choices.
Very
So
true.
that's why I choose to really work with children.
Well, Mary and Bob, and of course Shadow, the Res Dog, the Res Dog. I want to thank you for giving me some time to sit down and talk with you guys about your project and the way your way of life out there at Wanblee, helping out the Lakota people. God's blessings on you, and like you heard here, folks, you can help them out. You can even go out there when this COVID stuff kind of settles down. Go out there and help for a week, help for a weekend. They have PayPal. They're a 501c3, so it's tax deductible whatever you give to them. And of course, if you come out, bring some extra chew toys and milk bones for Shadow the Wonder Dog. That would be appreciated. But Bob, thank you very much, and good luck and prayers for your niece on her when she gets up there and goes out there to launch up there. And really proud to hear that, and happy for you and your family. And maybe we can do a follow-up story. You know, when she goes out there and talks to the kids, try and encourage them and let them know, see, this is what I did. This is what you can do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, wow. She's a lawyer? Or what'd you say?
I said absolutely.
Oh, absolutely, you said.
Yeah.
It's me. But anyway, and I just want to say thank you to my lovely neighbors, Jeff and Sharon White. I call them my bro and my sis, for letting us do this interview on their beautiful porch here in Oxford, Wisconsin, just on the far eastern reach of the Driftless area of Wisconsin, on beautiful Deep Lake. So for right now, I just want to say thank you once again, guys. As always, people, make sure you go to driftlessnow.com. Check out the latest articles on there, or go back through some of our past articles and past videos. We're also on YouTube and we're on Facebook at Driftless Now. So, as always, folks, be well.